This next lesson is on what we call establishing B-roll. B-roll is the heart of your documentary. Lots of different kinds of pictures. The more you shoot, the more you save buying stock footage or getting it from other places, and the more uniform the look of your film is going to be. Now, for our establishing B-roll, we're going to two different locations.
Okay.
The first one is here in the Kibera market, which is outside of Nairobi, and it's a fairly dicey, little bit dangerous place. Then we're going into war-torn southern Sudan. We'll be going to Juba, the capital city, and also into Kapweta, which is a little further out. So two different mixes of establishing B-roll. And the wonderful thing, Diana, is that this is where you have the pure joy of being a photographer and a cinematographer. That is, you can come out here on your own, you're not as worried about sound, you're not interviewing people, you're just trying to capture as many different scenes as you possibly can. And what's lovely about these cameras is you have so many different kinds of lenses. You get wide shots, immediate shots, and tight shots. So what I want you to do is to read through the checklist here, just read it off, and I'm going to have you set up the camera. All right, so go ahead, checklist here, and it is looking a little dicey. We're getting a lot of looks here.
Yes. Number one, we're going to set exposure mode to manual.
Okay, so just go ahead and do that.
So I'll do that like you taught me in the morning. I'll just go to manual.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Next.
Number two, we're going to choose a picture profile.
So picture profile, we're going to stay with panel lock.
Yes.
You know, we liked it, we've used it before. We could go to landscape here, but again, to do that, you're simply going to go here into your menus, and then you would choose that particular picture profile. So we've got a good picture profile, we like it. All right, next.
All right. Number three, we have to warm up or cool down the picture.
So, you know, we've already done that. We've looked at it. We want a slightly warmer picture because it's nice out here. Or for your documentary, because it's such a tragic story, you may want to cool it down.
Yeah. Well, number four, we have to set the frame rate and the frame size.
So since we're doing the documentary, we're going to stay right here at 24 frames a second and 1920 across. So that's high def, and it also gives us that filmic look of the 24 peak.
Yeah. Number five, we have to fix our shutter speed.
Shutter speed is really always the same with these cameras. It's got to be a 50th of a second. So go ahead and set that. You have this button here. So just, or knob, I should say. So just click that back, come over.
So I should set it at
50, right. Okay. And that's really the equivalent of a 180-degree shutter in film speak.
Yeah.
And it's roughly double the frame rate, so that's the shutter speed that we want.
Okay. So number six, we have to select a lens to use.
What do you think? What would you use here?
Well, here we have a 200mm, but since it's a wide shot, I may want to use the 16 to 35. Is that okay?
They're good. So in terms of the view, use them all. In other words, right here, what we're going to do is we're going to use this long lens because we want to be non-threatening. And it's wonderful to get that kind of depth here, going down into the marketplace, all the faces coming here. But you're right, you may want to take a 16 to 35.
Yeah. Carry
it around, gives you an opportunity to select several different kinds of shots. I also advise when you're starting out, take just one lens and get used to it.
Yeah.
Take like a 24mm lens, it's wide. You can still come in close to somebody to be able to get that shot.
Yes.
So for lenses, use as many as you can. Vincent Laforet did a very famous film called Reverie, which made these cameras famous. I'll use 15 different lenses. And you know, you don't have to own them all. You can borrow some for friends or just rent them for the day.
Yeah. Number seven, we have to set our subject's eye line, the eye line.
So for eye line here, you know, so we're looking at people coming along here.
Yeah.
You know, we can tilt this up and down because this gives us this ability. So just try that. We'll loosen this up, tilt it up and down. Now, eye line with a documentary, I mean, we could shoot up literally from the ground at somebody. We could be shooting down from a building. So you can lots of different eye lines for the B-roll. It's less important. The interview, we want to be right straight at eye level.
Yeah.
Next step?
Okay. The next step is to set the depth of field with your f-stop.
Great.
Yeah.
So when we look at this picture here, we already have a long lens. So we're going to have a fairly short depth of field. But if it's too short, what will happen is that people will just quickly be in and out of focus and everything else will be out of focus.
Yeah.
So for virtually all your shots as you're doing B-roll running around, you know, be safe, be it 4.0, 5.6 at least. If you want a very deep depth of field, you might be at f11.
Yeah.
So you have the opportunity of using depth of field to either set somebody off. For instance, there's a lady over here sitting right next to her pot. You know, we come over like this, and it's wonderful to kind of set her off. So I may use a little bit shallower depth of field. So there she is, right like that, right? Taking focus in like this here. And you know, it's a little shorter depth of field, so that's a great looking shot. We'll press that. And it's lovely, isn't it?
Yes.
See how we kind of set the background off? It's a little out of focus. And she's
Yeah, it's a little out of focus. Number 9, we have to set the ISO.
So the ISO out here, you know, it's very bright. We're right on the equator. You really want to have the lowest ISO you can. So that'd be f100. So go ahead and set that. Just press ISO.
I'll press ISO.
And you want to just scroll right across to get to 100.
Okay, I got to 100.
Perfect. Press that.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Good. Now, if you're out at night, you might go all the way up to 6400, really, really dark.
Yeah.
So use your ISO, use the lowest ISO you can so you get the highest quality, but use what you need to get the picture.
Okay. Number 10, we have to set the filter.
Now, the intriguing thing is, even with this ISO at 100, if I open this all the way up, at say 2.8 for this lens,
Yeah.
now let me just do that, it's going to be completely what I like to call blotto, which is to say that it's just way heavily overexposed.
Yeah.
So it kind of traps me. If I want that short depth of field, I screw on this filter here. These are variable density filters. They twist like this,
Yeah.
so I can vary the amount of light that comes in.
That comes in.
And the biggest single trick there is to these cameras is controlling the exposure just with a filter.
Yes.
So as you look through here now, you see how with this lady, how she gets very dark, light, 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 and I get to basically pick and choose exactly the exposure I want.
Yes.
And I use false colors here to make sure that I get her face just pretty much where I want. So it's the best trick in the book, the variable density filter.
Yeah. Well, number 11, we have to compose our shot. Set this up using the rule of thirds.
So now you remember the rule of thirds?
Yeah.
So how would you set this shot up then with this lady?
You know, I would position her either on this side of the screen or this side of the screen.
Excellent. So you have her on the right side of the screen.
Yeah.
On that we have some rubble over there. So you actually have the thirds on the screen.
Yeah.
And let's come back out, and that's good. I like the focus there. So we basically are using the whole screen there. It's a lovely shot.
Number 12, we have to stabilize our shot.
So nobody likes these wobbly sorts of
Yeah.
shots. If you have a very wide angle lens, you may be able to just hold the camera and stabilize it like this. But otherwise, if you can, put it on a tripod.
Yeah.
Here we have a nice carbon fiber tripod. We have a fluid head here, so it allows us to smoothly pan like this back and forth if we like, very smoothly. And with these cameras, they can't take a fast pan. You'll get a rolling shutter effect and things will start to bend, so it looks a little awkward. But good idea to take a tripod, even if it's very light.
Yeah. We have to check the level. Be sure that the establishing shots are completely level using the camera. Yeah.
So you have a level right here.
Yes.
So just undo this and put that right in the middle of the circle.
How this feels. So I have to make sure the bubble is at this.
Exactly right. That's perfect.
And
That
then,
back on.
and so that's
Great.
totally
So since you're operating the camera, I'll do the teleprompter.
okay. Number 14, we have to set the white balance.
Good. Now, very important. We might have just shot inside, and so we're back outside, and we want to make certain we haven't made a terrible mistake by taking like a tungsten reading from an indoor home light
Yeah.
and used it outside. So go ahead and press the white balance button,
So I'll press the white balance button.
and we're on custom. So now you want to roll all the way over to where?
And oops. So I'm gonna roll all the way to. It's cloudy right now, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be sunny in a few minutes anyway.
So
right
you know,
now it's
take
cloudy.
a risk and make it cloudy.
It's
There's the
cloudy.
bright sunlight, the cloudy's still, you know, a reasonable way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, number 15.
We focus and exposure check our monitor.
So here's the monitor. You get the picture you want. You have that all set up in terms of the rule of thirds.
Yeah.
We have it fairly level there. Good. Now, what I want you to do is to first of all show me how you focus this.
I think I'm gonna have to use the lens, maybe.
And we didn't bring our follow focus, but you want to press this to 10 times. And now,
Or so that I can have...
now you see how close you are on her face?
Yeah.
So take her eye, or take the pattern in her hat, and focus just exactly until you precisely get there. Right, that's it, that's perfect. So we'll come out, and now we'll go to false colors. Leave that right there. Now, for false colors, you want her face to be pink, which it is. So now you've got exactly what you want. You get the picture, you have the exposure, you've used the rule of thirds.
16, we set the audio.
So 16 audio, you know, our H4n, if we're doing an interview, we could use it. It's a little cumbersome. Sometimes I put it right on top of the camera. But otherwise, what I would do is I would come back into this menu. So
The
press menu here.
Okay.
And you want to come down to live view and press this, right? Like that. Come down to sound recording, manual, press this, and just make sure we're not topping out there. She's a little further away, so you could actually increase that a little bit. So we're capturing a little bit more sound at a distance.
Yeah.
So just always check that before you shoot. So the biggest mistake you can make here is this just too, you know,
Yeah. To set it too hot and then
too hot,
the sound
exactly.
is too loud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That's great.
All right.
And there's some local color next to us right here. Jumbo.
17. Roll camera and roll sound. Check the camera to be sure the red light is on. So we get to the point where we have to start rolling actually. So we start recording. Where do we do that?
Right here. So you press that button.
We set, and then the red light is on.
So you're shooting.
So we're shooting.
So you've done it.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.